Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3. And today I'm gonna be giving you part 4 of What If Naruto Universe Had Quirks. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Got Stuck in the Apocalypse after Chunin exams. So go ahead, check out that and enjoy over on Anime King 2. I also post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Seal Kaguya inside of him and trained for 6,000 years. So go ahead, check out that and enjoy that guys. And remember for new, yes I indeed have 4 channels. 4 channels that I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead, click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support, and yeah. Without further ado or anything else, what do you say we jump right into this brand new episode? Don't forget to turn on the bell notifications to see exactly when I post. So let's begin now guys. So the last spot we left off, both Ami and Naruto made it out to the field. As they were speaking about them being in a team, Naruto had a feeling that his father was behind this, to try and win some favors with him. As Ami was speaking about their future plan, however, Naruto did not think that was going to happen given his circumstances, but he told her that he would find a way, it doesn't matter what, he would find a way, as that made Ami smile. However, Naruto had a feeling that their new sensei was going to be a spy. Ami was confused why he believed that, but Naruto believed that his father was setting all of this up in case anything happened. It was just to watch him and make sure that he wasn't doing anything over the edge or anything. Because his father had told him not to try and use his technique on anyone else. His quirk was one that would bring a lot of problems, he said. His mother told him the same thing. So with that, Naruto waited until the guy arrived. Surprisingly, he was able to use a weaker version of the first Hokage's quirk. His quirk was mainly focused on using hand signs though. He could not use it as a first Hokage, he was nowhere close. He just had mere jutsus. He was a part of an experiment that was trying to replicate the first Hokage's quirk. However, they failed to bring it to its fullest, and Yamato was nowhere close to the true strength. Their other teammate was Sai, as the guy was rather strange, if Naruto would say in his own opinion, but it seemed to be hiding something, as well as Ami shared a look with Naruto. Despite the both of them acting like they trust him, they did not trust him one bit. They've gone their entire life knowing that they should not really trust people that easily. Yamato wanted to see a demonstration of their skills, so he told the both of them to go up against Sai. It turns out that he had trained Sai, as Sai was a part of a special program that was being trained in this village. So with that, both Naruto and Ami attacked Sai. Sai was fast and nimble on his feet. They tried to catch him, but they weren't able to do so. But they were indeed fast enough to actually caught up to him in the last areas. But their teamwork was flawless. As Yamato noticed that, they worked well together as a team. There was no words being said between them, but they just knew each other in and out. So with that, Yamato told them about what he would be doing, as he was going to be spending 2 weeks with them in a survival test to up their skills, their speed and strength. He told them that it doesn't matter if they did not possess a quirk, they could still be great. The man was really enthusiastic and happy. He just made you want to feel this good feeling about yourself. But Naruto did not trust him in the slightest. He felt like the man was trying to warm up to them by being nice to get on their good side. Sai, on the other hand, he was less talkative, but he was trying to become a part of their team by forming bonds with them, as Naruto could see that. He told Ami to be careful. Returning home later that night, his family was once again having dinner with him, as Naruto would never get used to this. As he returned to his room after that, his mother was now trying to get a part of his life, trying to speak to him more. His father was even trying to talk to him more. However, Naruto swallowed his feelings. He swallowed everything deep down, despite the amount of anger and rage that he was feeling. He came across his siblings and Sasuke. However, this time Naruto wanted to lash out and hurt them, as they had spoke badly about Ami, but she grabbed Naruto's hand and told him that it was not worth it. They was not worth their time. As Naruto followed her advice and leave. So with that, the next 2 weeks was nothing but physical hell for Naruto. Yamato placed seals on their bodies to allow them to increase their speed, but it was just hell. Naruto realized that Sai was used to this environment. Whatever program he was probably a part was rather intense. The academy was intense because they had to get them up to their skill level, but Sai seemed to breeze through this without little to no difficulty. That meant he was pretty strong already, as Naruto was sure that he was holding back majority of what he can actually do. But that did not bother Naruto though. So for the next 2 weeks they went through hell. Once they were out though, Yamato told them that he was proud of them as he had grown leaps and bounds. Since then, Naruto family has trying to be more abrasive towards him, while his siblings have not been, because Naruto was keeping them at arm's length, but the others were trying to get to know him better, and Naruto just despised him even more as they tried. So with that, Yamato took them towards the office, as today was the day that he was gonna ask for a mission. They did D-rank missions when they were in the academy. The quirkless were the only ones that did D-rank missions, the quirk users did not, seeing that their time and their efforts were more valuable because they were trained specially for missions out there, and their money was more expensive to hire them. As the bridge builder came there, the man had 6 arms. Naruto could understand why he was well known for being one of the greatest bridge builder. With 6 arms, he could move pretty fast. So with that, they made their way towards the land of Wave. However, they got into a bit of a snag as they ran into the demon brothers. They possess quirks that allow them to eject long weapon, metal, curved blades that can regenerate despite being broke a million times. However, despite the both of them having a quirk, Naruto, Ami, and Sai were fast and strong enough to handle the both of them. As Yamato came back, that is when Tazuna finally broke and told him about Gato. Naruto knew that some people out there did not care about the quirkless or quirk thing because Tazuna was one of them. Despite them not possessing a quirk, he did not care about that. He saw them as normal people. So with that, Naruto saw that his sensei was eager to go along with the mission despite hearing that it might raise difficulty. But he said that his team could handle it. Maybe the man just trusted him that much, but Naruto did not fully believe that was the case. There was just something about this guy that did not rub Naruto the right way. However, they decided to go along the same way. So with that, they made their way. However, the problem was coming ahead, as they were going to be facing off against a very dangerous individual, Zabuza Mamakai. Zabuza possessed a rather powerful quirk. He had many names, as he was once known popular as the Sea Demon of Kiri, as he was with his accomplice. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the playcheck of yourself, and what do you say we jump right into this brand new episode? No wasting more time guys, begin now. We begin this episode with Minato Namikaze. Minato was a very, how would you say, skeptical, cautious, and advancing man. He would do whatever it takes to make sure his village remain on top, keep on advancing, evolving. Most people thought that he was the most warmest and sweetest and the greatest protector, but that was far from the truth. Minato was a man that would do anything to make sure the Leaf survived. He was raised in a background where he was treated well because of his quirk, and that gave him arrogance. Just like Menma and Mito, the arrogance came from their father. Their mother was treated with highlight as that as well, but she was a bit more ignorant to those that did not possess a quirk. They did not pay them any attention. That is just the way they were grown. But one would think that they would not want that same treatment for their kid, but they treated Naruto exactly that same way. And they didn't think that they did anything wrong. However, Minato never expected his son to awaken a quirk. They spoke about this situation countless times. Naruto had overheard them when they said that he brings shame to the family by not possessing a quirk. Yes, he heard them speaking about him. He pretended not to, but he heard them. Almost all of the clan heads' children possess a quirk. Some of them possess very powerful quirks, and with Naruto not possessing one, it looked rather shameful to the family. Yet, he developed a quirk that was shocking. Something that none of them expected, that is why it was kept a big secret. If the world was ever to find out about this, well, it would surely go in chaos trying to get him. However, Minato, after taking some of Naruto's blood while he was unconscious, extracting DNA from said blood, they were able to isolate certain factors of someone's quirk, not fully develop it because up to this day no one has been able to fully utilize and implant quirks in others. The study with Yamato failed. So many had died, but Yamato had been the only successful one. However, Naruto's quirk was different. At the moment, Minato watched a doctor in there. Doctor/scientist. As he was a master of learning about things that make quirk work and everything about it. However, this one stumped him. Naruto quirk was an oddity that he had never really seen before. It was different from all other quirks. As he tried to mix said DNA with another that possessed a quirk. However, Naruto DNA just seemed to consume it, which shouldn't be happening at all. The DNA isolated from the specific area, not to mention the quirk. Reaction to Naruto's DNA was strange. I don't know what to say, Hokage-sama. I've never seen anything like this before. It doesn't really make much sense to me, but here it is. Your son quirk does indeed extract and takes away someone's quirk fully. Without a live host, I'm not sure if the side effects are permanent, but from what we can see here, it is. But DNA and a living person is two different things. As you know, the body works in different ways. Sometimes there is complications. Despite this being here, I'm unable to give a full report. What can you give me? Said Minato. His body indeed absorbed the quirk. However, I'm not sure how about his limit or actual limitation of how much quirk he can absorb. But his physical growth is astounding. You said that he trained for 2 weeks in the forest of death, correct? Minato nodded his head once again. These results should not be capable. What do you mean? Said Minato. Before he went in, you did the evaluation to see. When he was unconscious, his bone structure, everything. However, his body seemed to have developed at least a year in the short span of 2 weeks. What do you mean? Said Minato. Structure-wise, I believe it's because of the quirk that he stole. He somehow gained the resilience of a quirk user. On top of that, the strength as well. And it seems his chakra capacity has increased. It is not noticeable at first because his body slowly adapts to the changes, but once it does, his strength and overall physical capabilities improve by a milestone. So you're saying, the more quirk that he takes, the more stronger he gets. And you do not know if there's a limitation? No, I don't. Minato went into deep thought. His son was stubborn. Naruto quirk would become one of the most valuable quirk in the entire world. It would surpass even his and his mother's. There would be no other quirk in the entire world that would be able to test something like this. They had to run more tests on him, but Minato didn't want Naruto wasting time with those quirkless. And being a normal regular ninja, he need to become a part of the quirk force. He need to be under the proper guidance and structure of a quirk user. But Minato knew what was holding Naruto back. It was a friend of his, Ami. The quirkless girl. Minato had to make a few choices that would benefit him and the village in the future, but his son would benefit from it because if he kept on working in this state, there wouldn't be anything happening. His son needs to be in a controlled, confined situation where he can make sure that he supply him with quirk from enemy ninjas that would help him grow and become one of the strongest to watch over and guide the village. He had to make sure that he had the right mindset. Allowing him to drift off, Minato had noticed that there was a bit of hatred for him from his son, and he couldn't allow that hatred to foster. That is why he had to kill it. He had to make sure that his son was dependent on them. That is why he made a move. Minato wasn't an idiot. Of course he knew about Land of Wave and Gato. Of course he knew. Yes, he knew everything that was going on there despite that he gave Team 7 the mission and they were clearly not ready for it. However, as he said, to make sure that Konoha is powerful and to make sure that his son become a great protector of the village, the good will have to suffer for the bad. And there was no change in his mind. Plans have already been set in motion. Yes, they have. Meanwhile that was going on, Naruto and Ami and Sai and Yamato was making their way, as they were set up in a triangle formation, with Yamato at the lead, as Naruto was at the left, Sai at the right, and Ami in front, and their captain in front of her, as they moved through the foliage. The place is quite misty, isn't it? Sai spoke up. Naruto has been studying Sai and his attitude. Somehow Naruto believed that Sai learned as he went along, like some kind of robot. The way he carried himself, he did certain things, then he would change his mind and do something else, like he was learning as he picked up on things. Naruto didn't understand why though. However, if he was a robot, he was pretty good at acting like a human. Naruto found that thought rather funny, as he walked, keeping his eyes on his surroundings. He glanced from left to right. As he glanced up towards Ami, she seemed to be ready as well. Naruto looked towards her sensei. He was a bit eager to take this mission, despite knowing the threat. Naruto wondered if sometime he was just overthinking things. Maybe sensei just had that much confidence in them. No, he's just his instinct so far. He would not betray his instincts no matter what. Ami glanced towards him. As Naruto gave her a smile, she grinned back at him as she looked ahead. It was always good to know that he was back there watching her back. So with that, they continued to move. In the middle, the six-armed Tazuna looked around, as he realized the place was a bit too misty. That is when something went off in the bush. There was a sound, a rattling. Ami whipped toward her kuna as she launched it. However, what she hit was a rabbit, dead on into the chest. Good aim, Ami, but it was just a rabbit, said Yamato. Can't be too sure, Sensei, she said, looking around. For all we know, it was here to attack Tazuna. Tazuna looked towards her. Why would the rabbit attack me? How should I know? How do I know how animal thinks? As Tazuna shook his head. You're one strange child, he said to her. Yep, and I like it that way, she said. However, Naruto noticed Sai. Something was wrong. Sai seemed to be on edge. That is when they felt it. There was a wave of raw, intense, killer intent that seemed to swallow the entire place. Ami gripped her chest as she felt like her heart was about to explode out of her chest. Sai remained standing. Naruto felt sweat building on his brow as his breath started to become labored. As Tazuna, the old man, started to tremble or to drop into one knee, Yamato jumped in front of the group as he slammed his hands together, releasing a wave of chakra that canceled the effects. As they saw in front of them someone walking out of the foliage, the person was just walking towards them. Now what do we have here? The man said. His voice sounded a bit raspy, rough, dangerous. Ami looked up, finally able to see the individual. As she saw him, he was shirtless. He had a white scarf wrapped around his midsection. It flowed down as he had on dark pants with normal sandals. His face was shown to them. What she saw immediately got her an alert. He had sharp rows of teeth that looked like fangs. As when he opened his mouth as he spoke, she saw that they weren't just the two front ones, they were all the way in. He had two sets of teeth. His face was pointed out, like some kind of fish, but he still had his human appearance. Who are you? Ami said. Yamato raised a hand. Zabuza Momokai, he said. Part of the 7 sword pack, or the 7 ninja swordsmen, correct? Ah, I see my reputation precedes me. Yes, that's correct, said Zabuza. 7 ninja swordsmen? I've heard of that before, said Ami. Well, it's a very dangerous group from the Hidden Mists. All of the participants are part of this group all possess a quirk, which allow them to augment their bodies to produce some sort of blade, giving all of them a branch of blade to use, giving them their name. Said Sai to her. Ah, you know a lot for a kid. Well, as you can see, I'm here for the old man. I've been hired to kill him. Tazuna stepped back in fear. So why don't you guys just hang him over? Because from what I can see, you all seem to be quirkless. So this fight wouldn't end well for you guys. I'm afraid I can't let that happen, said Yamato. You can't? Oh well then, that's fine by me. I'll just kill you all. Zabuza moved with such speed that Ami was caught off guard. Usually she'd be ready for these things, but she froze up. Luckily her sensei came in and blocked Zabuza with a kunai, but Zabuza's hand turned into claws. It seems that this was his aspect. The claws were not just any normal claws, they were like chompers. As he tore right through the kunai. Jumping back, Yamato got a slash across his jacket. He flipped. However, Zabuza did not stop as he rushed forward. Ami finally got her nerve in as she pulled a kunai and strapped the explosive tag and threw it. Zabuza caught the thing in his claws and locked his hand together. Boom! The thing exploded in his palm. However, his claws, it had curved around the explosion, causing the effect to be null and void. Nice with the explosive you got there. However, it was much too weak to do something to me. Zabuza ducked, as he then reached and grabbed Sai by the back of his shirt as he flew over him. He tossed Sai down towards the ground violently before he raised his leg. Sai rolled out of the way as Zabuza stomped down, cracking the earth. That is when wind style. Zabuza quickly jumped away as a blast of wind destroyed the area. Now mid-air, he looked around as he saw Naruto. Naruto flashed to another set of handstand before held in, 2 fingers up, lightning release. G and current, he said, as the glow of lightning started to gather on his fingertips before, shooting outwards in an arc. Zabuza lashed out his claws that seemed to extend even more, as Naruto did not know the capability. The claws came in contact with the lightning and completely went through it. As Zabuza was not affected. What kind of claws were those, Naruto thought? He saw the man reach out as he grabbed into a tree, literally tearing into the chunk with his claws. He used it to flip himself. However, before he could reach Naruto though, he was assaulted. He was hit with several violent poles that exploded from the ground. Once he saw them, he flipped away, holding on to his stomach. Wait, isn't that... He saw Yamato flash through hand sign. Wood style, he says. He brought his hand down. Violent spikes and trees jetted out from the ground. Zabuza was caught up in the attack. He was scratched and torn. However, his claws were proven to be rather difficult as he slashed and tore right through every single tree that tried to hold him. Yamato started to apply more chakra, but Zabuza tore through everything, flipping away. I must say I'm surprised. First of all, that you quirkless ninjas are so good. But it doesn't matter. However, you there, Captain, he said. Captain of this little group of yours. You seem to possess a version of the first Hokage, quirk of Konoha. That quirk is probably the most famed and feared in the entire world. So to see someone like you possessing that, I'm surprised. Although, it's not anywhere near powerful to what I've read. But it seems I've underestimated you all. Now it's time that I stop doing so, he said. Now it's time the real funs begin. He slammed his hand together. They all felt it, a buildup of chakra. Zabuza then opened his mouth as he released water. So much water over the area. As the group was forced to jump away, Naruto created 2 clones. They grabbed Kazuna and jumped up in a tree, holding the man up there. Stay back, all of you, said Yamato as he held his hand out, preventing all of them from moving. When the water finally reached their level, as he had to jump on top of it, steadying himself as well as chakra built up on their feet. What's going on? What is he doing? Said Ami as she gripped her blade tightly. He's changing. A transformation quirk, said Yamato. Zabuza chuckled as he dived into the water. Speed that was shocking, he burst right in front of Sai and Ami. Naruto's eyes went wide. He thrust the kunai that was in his hand. However, Zabuza simply chomped right through it. The man had turned into a monster. He was now a serpent. His arms were bent and deformed, but the claws were at least 10 times longer, able to slice and tear through anything. Their sensei turned and shouted for them to get back. They had successfully moved Kazuna to the tree. What is he gonna do by himself? This guy is crazy powerful, said Ami. Oh, don't you worry, said Sai. Yamato, Sensei will be just fine. Naruto glanced towards him. And what makes you think so? You said that this guy was a part of the Seven Swordsmen, correct? Yes, his quirk might be powerful, but Yamato Sensei has experience fighting quirk users. Just watch and see. Naruto and Ami watched in shock as their sensei was actually pushing Zabuza back. As their sensei got sliced across the chest with one of those claws. They watched carefully, but the man, he did not stagnate or fell in pain, he just continued his assault. Yamato was using pedals in the water as Naruto noticed. Naruto followed the pedals as he saw the trees behind them were growing exponentially. What is... Ah, you noticed, said Sai. Hey, what's that? Said Ami. Despite not possessing anything close to what the first Kage possessed, he does have a sense of control over plants. Just watch the water, he said. They did watch the water as they watched as it dried up. All of it being funneled into the trees. Despite being a sea serpent, Zabuza was forced to jump away. As he realized the water was getting less and less the closer he was to this man. However, his control over water, Yamato control that is, was exponentially great just as his control over earth. He sucked the water out of the trees that he had gathered. As behind Zabuza he was surrounded, Zabuza was violently hit. Despite being able to swim and react good in water, the pressure was strong. It slammed him into a tree. Naruto was surprised. Yamato Sensei was much more stronger than he thought. He thought that this Zabuza guy would be dominating the fight, but it didn't work that way in the slightest. Zabuza picked himself up as Yamato flashed a hand sign. Wood style, he said, nativity of the sea of trees. Pumping out the obscene amount of chakra, Naruto watched in awe. As the place lit up, it was like the forest just appeared. Right in their point of view, Ami couldn't believe it. And the sensei said that he was not anywhere close to the strength of the first. Just how powerful was the first Hokage if this was someone who can claim that he was not strong as the first anywhere close, and yet he can do something like this? Zabuza was violently hit. So violent in fact that he was sent sailing. He'd been pierced multiple times. Zabuza's worst opponent was Yamato. Zabuza mainly focused on water, his quirk being Transformation 1, able to turn into a sea serpent, humanoid fish body, as he was a lot faster and stronger in the water. However, the problem was, Yamato was feeding off the water and using it to his advantage. Yamato told him to stay here, as he cautiously moved out. Naruto watched as a tree beside him came out, and it quickly turned into a clone of him. Before he headed off, Yamato went towards the location where Zabuza finally fell. Checking there was nothing. He noticed marks. It seems that Zabuza had an accomplice. He returned back with his team. A few minutes later, with Zabuza, Zabuza coughed as he picked himself up. He looked toward his hand as his hand was covered in a bit of blood as he coughed. Stay still. You have some internal bleeding. I'll slow down the blood flow. Damn it, it's cold, said Zabuza. I know, but you have to remain still. Zabuza frowned at that. I underestimated them because they were quirkless. However, that quirk of the first Hokage, somehow they got it to integrate into this Jonin Sensei. However, from the reports, he's nowhere strong near to what the first Hokage was, but he is strong, said Zabuza. You didn't have to intervene, Haku. I was about to make my move. Make your move? He had you down, and that jutsu that he just used. You were pierced several times. You need to rest to recover your strength. If I did not step in, getting back up would have caused you more pain, and prolonged fighting would eventually cause you to fall because of blood loss. Just because you possess a powerful quirk doesn't mean that you're untouchable, Haku said. Besides, there's no need to rush. It's not like the bridge builder is going anywhere. He's back home. Tch, I suppose you're right. What's the damage? You will need some time to recover. But the next time we fight, and I do mean we, because I will be fighting with you, Zabuza simply grumbled as he looked towards his apprentice. Their relationship was master and apprentice. His apprentice possessed a very powerful quirk, yes. Sometimes Zabuza wondered why he was even following him. There were so many countries out there that would die to get their hands on Haku's quirk. However, Zabuza had been the one to take care of him and give him a reason to live, and since then he offered services to make sure Zabuza will always be protected. He killed and fight for him. In this world that they live in, people with quirks are said to be the superiors. However, they were just as evil, or maybe worse than the ones that did not possess any. The things that they had to do, the people they had to kill. So with that, Haku helped Zabuza back towards the location. Meanwhile that was going on, did you get him, said Ami. There was a lot of blood at the location that I found, however, he was able to escape. What? I saw those branches stab right through him. Was he really durable enough to get through that and suffer no major wounds, Ami said. I think there's someone helping him. Yes, you're right, my attack did pierce through him. I believe there's someone helping him. However, we have a problem. What's that? Ami asks. The sea, said Naruto. Yamato looked towards Naruto. I see you realize. What's going on, said Ami. The sea. Naruto repeat once again. The water that he produced here was of his own making, and yet it made him so much stronger and faster. He underestimated us, especially you, Sensei. He didn't expect your wide variety technique to reach him that easily. However, if we were to fight him at the bridge, he will have control over all of that water there. He will be able to move as fast or even faster than before. There is a chance that he want to destroy the bridge in order to fight us in the sea. Destroy my bridge, said Tazuna. Yes. He's strong, but he's seen that you're not someone to underestimate, said Naruto as he looked towards Yamato. That is why he'll want to fight us in his environment. And if he does have a person with him, it's going to be more difficult. That is why we need to come up with a proper plan and be ready, because we don't know when they'll return. As Naruto and Ami and Sai nodded as they made their way back to Tazuna's house. Arriving towards the location, they were greeted by a woman. It turns out that it was the daughter of Tazuna. Naruto expected to see more arms or something, but he did not. It turns out that she did not inherit the quirk that her father did. He didn't even know if she had one. As she smiled at them, she greeted them with such warmth. Naruto come to love the outside world. People out here were happy to see them and happy to invite them in their home despite not possessing a quirk. However, they had saw the situation of this country. It was really bad. Like, terrible. This Gato guy was putting these people through literal hell. That is why they were here to do something about it. They need to stop this. These people are suffering, and they've suffered for too long. As a kid came inside and rushed up to his grandpa and hugged him. However, when he saw the Konoha ninja, he frowned, and he marched on to his room. His mother apologized for that, not explaining what's going on as he looked toward Tazuna. He lost someone very dear to him. At this moment, he's not really believing in heroes. No one said anything about that as Yamato turned towards his team. Alright, we know that Zabuza is out there, so we'll have to keep a close eye on Tazuna. While we're not doing that, I'll be training you all. What about his family, said Naruto. Wouldn't Gato use this as a perfect opportunity to kidnap his family? Don't worry, I have that covered, said Yamato. As Naruto simply nodded to the man. Time skip. Naruto sat as he leaned against a tree. Ami was on the other side leaning against as well. That was one hell of a workout, she said. I can't even move a single muscle. You're telling me, said Naruto. Hey, I was wondering something. Does he know that you have a quirk? Naruto blinked as he just realized. You know, I don't know. Perhaps my father did tell him something, I'm not really sure. So I don't know if he knows or not. But if it comes to it, I'll use my quirk in order to protect you, said Naruto. To protect me? You mean protect the enemies from me, she said. As Naruto chuckled. You know, I had my suspicions about him, but he's not that bad, Ami said. Wait until Naruto respond. Yeah, you're right, said Naruto. Maybe I was just overthinking things. Maybe. But it doesn't matter. You and I always come first out of everyone else. We always stick together, she said, holding out her hand, as Naruto reached and took it. No matter what, he said, finching for her, which made her smile. Let's head back, said Naruto as he pulled her up. They had been working for the past few hours. Yamato had them learning several new jutsus to improve their repertoire. As Naruto had come close to learning the second jutsu, but he wasn't quite there yet. It was a lightning jutsu, a very destructive one. A B rank, to be exact. Ami was working on mixing her kinjutsu with her fire attacks. It got a bit out of hand, seeing the bandage on her hand. So with that, they made their way back to the house. Sai was off doing God knows what. After their sensei had given them the training, he wasn't sure where sensei went off to. Making their way inside, they were greeted by Tsunami as they were told to wash up and sit down, as she was even cooking for them. Naruto wanted to ask if she possessed a quirk or not, because she was just like her father, ridiculous and nice. He just supposed some people out there just did not care about quirks or whatnot. So with that, they sat down. Upon sitting down, it didn't take too long for their sensei and Sai to return. I was looking for you guys outside, said Yamato as he returned in. I take it everything went well. Yeah. I'm almost close in mastering the two of them, said Naruto. I got the first one down. Good job, Yamato said. What about you, he said as he turned towards Ami. I'm almost close, she said. Just a bit hiccup here and there, but I'm getting the technique down. I just need to make it more fluent and not so choppy. Is there anything that you need my help with, he said. No, I have this one, she said. Alright then, but if there's anything, tell me, he said. She nodded her head. Maybe the man was just ridiculous and nice, she thought to herself. As they start to eat, that is when Naruto got a look at the boy. There was nothing that showed that he had a quirk over him. However, quirk users sometimes did not show any problems of a quirk. No mutation at all, after all. That was the same for him and his siblings, and many others. The boy noticed Naruto looking at him. As he glared at him, Naruto raised an eyebrow at that glare, but said nothing. As the place was silent as they eat, the boy then stopped eating as his fork clattered with the plate, causing all them to look up on him. As Naruto noticed his mother looking quite worried. Why do you all bother, he said. Naruto raised an eyebrow. What are you talking about? From what I can see, none of you possess a quirk. I watched you all training today. So what makes you guys think that you can actually defeat Gato? Well, son, said Yamato, we're gonna— Don't call me that! Yamato was surprised at the extreme blown up at him, as he remembered what Tazuna said. Oh, I apologize, he said, thinking that the child must have lost his father. Inari, there's no need to be so rude. As he did not say or look towards his mother, he just dismissed her, without even turning his gaze. We're gonna do our hardest to make sure that your village and your people get the help that they deserve, said Yamato. You're wasting your time. None of you are strong enough. Only quirk people in this world can actually do a damn thing. Do you possess a quirk, Naruto asked. The boy turned towards him, as he frowned, and gave Naruto one of his best glares that he could. Shut up, he said. You know nothing! Naruto was confused by that. He asked him a question and yet he got that. He then got up and stormed off. I'm sorry about my son, said Tsunami. And if you're wondering about if we possess a quirk, I do, she said. As she changed her hand, Naruto saw as he turned into a wooden paddle. My quirk allows me to manipulate my hands into most non-living objects, but nothing too destructive, she said. My son possesses the same, she told him. However, he has not used his quirk since the incident. Incident, said Naruto. She lowered her head as Tazuna picked up for her. Kaiser, his father. He loved the ocean. He possessed a water manipulation quirk. Nothing too powerful, but most around here call him the king of the sea. He was the face of this land. When Gato started to take over, he was the first to come to this land defense. However, in order to teach us an example, he brought his forces in and lined up everyone. He brought to the body of— He looked towards his daughter and saw her shudder. Well, let's just say he made sure that we realize there's no hope. Since then, Inari has not believed there is any hope to go on. Oh, I see, said Naruto. Later that night, Naruto heard crying. Coming around the back door, Naruto saw Inari on the ground. The moment he saw him, he wiped his tears and looked up. What do you want? I'm sorry, said Naruto. Inari was confused. What? I said I'm sorry for your loss. Tch, you didn't even know him. I presume my mother or grandfather told you about my father. Yes, said Naruto. Inari started to walk away as Naruto grabbed his shoulder. Let go of me. Listen to me, said Naruto. I know that you've been through a lot, but trust me, you're not the only one that has suffered. What? You know, your life is not that pretty horrible if you think about it. What the hell are you talking about? Inari said. My life isn't horrible? No, it's not. Compared to others, it's a walk in the park. What are you... Well, let's just say that most other people sometimes think about ending their own life. Yet they did not. Because they found reasons to keep on living. But despite that, they wonder if it was a mistake for them even to born. As Inari looked at Naruto, was he talking about himself? I promise you this, kid. I'm not one for making promises, but, well, your land has suffered enough, and we will find Gato and get rid of him. As Naruto started to walk away, Inari watched him. And listen up, said Naruto as he paused. Anyone can be a hero. Your father was certainly one. Someone that did not give up and fight for what he believed in. That's the definition of a hero. So don't let anyone tell you anything or give up. Your father entrusts you to this place now. He's gone, but you're still here. Protect it, said Naruto as he walked inside. Inari was shocked. Strangely enough, he has been told these words before, but there was just something about this individual that he just didn't know. The week flew by rather quickly as there wasn't any incident. Inari had not really blown up at anyone. Naruto saw him watching them training, but he did not get involved. He just watched him from afar. So with that, the group made their way towards the bridge. At the house, though, there was an incident as two of Gato's men came here to kidnap Tsunami. However, they were met with resistance, as 5 clones, who were disguised as trees around the house, quickly morphed back to human form, and took care of them rather easily. They were just run-of-the-mill thugs, nothing special about them. However, Inari had stand up for his mother when they tried to take her, and for the first time in a long while, something saw him snap as he held out his arm. Both of his arms transformed into baseball bats. His quirk might not be that strong or durable, but it was versatile, as he dared them to try anything. However, the Yamato clones quickly took care of them. However, Inari had something that he hadn't had in a long while: hope. And it was because of those words that he was told. His father was indeed a hero. Maybe it was time that he started to act like one as well. However, on the bridge, when they arrived towards said bridge, several of the men that were there were dead. Tazuna was shocked as he saw blood all over, anger written all over the man's face. Laughter could be heard. Well. We meet once again. Konoha Ninja. I've been looking forward to this rematch. These people. You were after me, why did you have to kill them? They got in my way. Yamato clenched his fists. As Zabuza stepped out, however, he wasn't alone. There was someone beside him in a mask. Yamato gave his team a quick signal as they all stepped back. Oh, your little kids are gonna be playing with my little apprentice here. His name is Haku. Haku, why don't you go and take care of them? You know what to do, said Yamato as he looked towards all of them. They nodded toward each other. Watch each other's backs. As he gave him one more nod, Naruto brought his hand up and 2 clones poof into reality. They pulled Tazuna to the other end of the bridge. So, Konoha Ninja, how about we restart that little battle of ours? said Zabuza with a smirk. Yamato was cautious as he looked around the bridge, making sure there was nothing that would cause it to collapse, but strangely enough he did not see anything. But despite the final battle that they last had, why was he now so confident? Is it because of this person, he thought, as he looked down towards the individual. Yamato was shocked when the individual rushed towards him. However, it was a distraction as he jumped over him. But before he could turn, though, he had to block a strike from Zabuza as they started to clash. The ninja landed as Ami drew her blade. I apologize, but I will have to kill you all. Huh. Apologizing that you have to kill us. Well, you hear something new every day, Ami said. But I'm afraid that we can't die here. We'll have to be the one to take you down. Sai drew a tanto from his back as Naruto whipped out 2 kunais. The hunter ninja slowly moved forward. I'm afraid your chances of succeeding here and now is slim to none. The entire place went cold in an instant. Their breath was visible. What the hell, said Ami. Immediately the bridge was frozen over with a single step. As Tazuna slipped, he made a single move and slipped, but the clone caught him so he didn't fall off. Naruto's eyes went wide though, as he watched as the ninja brought his hands down. He hit the bridge with both of his fists. It then started to crack. Move, said Naruto as his clones jumped away with Tazuna as they all fell. Tazuna's eyes went wide in shock as the entire bridge was destroyed in a single attack. This was the reason why people fear quirk users. Just what the hell? They all landed on top of the water. It seems our opponent possesses a quirk that allows them to manipulate ice and shatter it to their whim. I implore all of you to not let him touch you one bit, said Sai. No, I don't think it works like that. I doubt that he can do the same to us. The ninja watched Naruto carefully. Am I right, said Naruto. You can't just freeze someone over like that. The bridge was an object, a material that you can destroy. But the human body is quite tricky, and not to mention our chakra would not allow us to freeze over so easily. You're quite smart. But knowing something and saying it does not change anything. You all will still lose here. As Naruto looked towards his team. Formation A, he said. Sai nodded. As Ami started to go through hand sign, sheathing her blade. Both Naruto and Sai rushed forward. The ninja watched both of them before Ami launched a fireball, raising his hands out. The fireball was completely encased in ice. Before it shattered, both Naruto and Sai came down swinging blades and kunais, but their weapons were blocked by 2 ice daggers. They clashed against the hunter nin. Sparks and pieces of ice chipping were blasted all over. Naruto watched as he saw Yamato was sent sailing. He crashed on top of the water over to the left. However, Yamato rushed back into the game, facing off against the now transformed Zabuza. Damn it, said Naruto, we have to help Sensei. This was what we feared. Sai flashed Johansson as he gathered the water below them and shot it towards the ninja. However, he simply threw the dagger and froze the water over. But that was what Sai was counting as he jumped on top of it and rushed forward. He then launched his tanto. The ninja quickly ducked underneath it, but suddenly there was a sizzling sound. Boom! The tanto exploded, throwing the ninja forward as Naruto appeared. 2 hard punches to the guts. Haku wheezed out in shock, surprised by the blonde's strength. Blowing back across the water, Haku was thrown. He flipped several times as Naruto leaped, reaching Haku before he could even stop as Naruto grabbed his leg and twisted him and launched him towards Ami. Ami took in a deep breath after flashing through hand sign. Fire style! Dragon breath roar, she said, releasing an extreme wave of heat. Haku quickly spun as he dived under the water, releasing the chakra on his feet. He then burst out behind Ami. Behind you, Naruto yelled. Ami jumped away. However, Haku gripped a spear and launched it. The spear was shattered by blue electric tentacles. Following those, Haku raised eyebrows as he saw those coming from Naruto's palm Naruto gripped them as he whipped them towards Haku, but Haku jumped and leaped. Surprised that he was able to use a quirk, he landed. Ami appeared. Fire style, she said. Several swords slash. She opened and resheathed her blade at least several times. In each of the time there was a wave of flames that shot towards Haku. But Haku was able to nullify each and every one of them as Sai burst from underneath the water soaking wet, swinging his tanto towards Haku's throat. Haku jumped back, but Sai was fast to chip the mass. The bottom of the mass cracked. Haku seemed to be rather angry by that. Enough, he said to them. I must kill you all. This is just a waste of my time. I will not allow you to ruin or stop Zabuza-sama dreams. Well, if you think you'll be that easy to kill us, you're sadly mistaken, Ami said. Haku slammed his leg on top of the water as the ice that came out was far more deadly and powerful than what he had seen so far. Naruto leaped forward and jumped. He grabbed onto Sai as he grabbed Ami, before using his tentacles as he shot them towards the remaining broken bridge and yanked them, leaping out of the water as everything was crushed. Yamato was shocked as he looked behind him, his eyes widened in shock. It was then that Zabuza spoke up, half of his body still submerged in the water. That's Haku for you. Always holding back, but when he doesn't, his opponents are always shot by his quirk. That quirk, yes, a really powerful one. He's able to manipulate ice to a degree that even outclass me if he wants. So yes, he's stronger than me. So your Genins are toast. Damn it, said Yamato, as he needed to end this, but in the water he could not. However, Zabuza would not take the bait. He had to come up with a plan to do something fast. Otherwise, he was worried for the safety of the kids. And he could not fail his mission. And he was not talking about the mission that he had here. And he had to keep Naruto Namikaze alive at all costs. The Hokage would not be pleased if he died. However, he was now using his quirk. Desperate time calls for desperate measures, it seems. But they suspected that this might happen. Glancing towards Sai, he gave Sai a look. However, Sai still believed the situation can be salvaged without exposing that he also possessed a quirk. Yes, he also possessed a quirk. Most of what he told them was a lie, but yes, he was a part of a secret program. But these secret program kids, they did possess quirk. Exceptionable ones, that is. After all, they were a group of potential defense for Konoha that would trump any attack that ever came towards the Hidden Leaf. Back over towards the kids. As Naruto winced as he felt blood drip down his arm, he was grazed, and his flesh had been torn. Ami appeared behind him. No time, said Naruto, as she tried to look at his wound. This guy, it's a lot stronger than I thought. He looked towards Ami. Let's try it, shall we? Ami nodded. Sai, stay back. As they saw a massive wave of ice coming towards them. Fire style, wind style. Collaboration heat wave, said Naruto. As Ami said the same thing as they blew fire and wind. It clashed with the ice, as the place was filled with nothing but steam. The two attacks collided and clashed violently. Both Naruto and Ami pouring more and more chakra out, as Haku seemed to apply more chakra as well as the ice got thicker, but they did not stop. Suddenly the ice relented, as the place was filled with nothing but fog all around from the two attacks colliding. As Naruto looked around, Sai's eyes wandered through the fog as he tried to find the two. He could sense their chakra. That is when he noticed something whipping through. Naruto was hit by something. What the hell? He tried to move his left arm, but he could not as it dropped to his side. His right arm then dropped to his side. He was then hit in the chest as Naruto felt his body seized up. His tentacles quickly exploded from his back, latching around at anything that might come close. Ami looked over towards him. What's wrong? I got hit. By what? She said, not seeing anything. I don't know. Suddenly, bursting out of the smoke was none other than Haku. Naruto's tentacles burst forward as Haku dodged and dived. Once he got in close though, Naruto's tentacles wrapped around him, Got you, said Naruto as electricity poured down. However, Haku's body froze as the freezing started to wash over Naruto's tentacles. Sai came upon that scene. The real Haku emerged from the water, a dagger in hand. Racing forward, Haku drove it towards Naruto's chest. Naruto was trapped. His tentacles froze up, his arms not moving because something had hit him, paralyzing him at the moment. His eyes widened in shock. Sai saw what was about to happen as immediately black goo started to leak from his right hand. He had to use his quirk, he just had to. However, he saw something. This would be the perfect opportunity. Sai stopped his quirk from activating as Ami sliced right through the dagger. However, she left herself wide open. Ami, said Naruto! He quickly used his telekinesis to push her out of the way. But Haku will launch the other dagger that formed in his hand in a split second. As the dagger tip split open, revealing multiple sharp daggering spikes that slammed right into Ami's chest. Naruto's eyes widened as he saw blood splatter. Naruto watched as the world seemed to freeze. As Ami fell backwards, the thing had spread out and freeze through her body. After piercing right through her, the blood splattered on Naruto's face. Naruto was confused. Sai came in and shattered the ice that was being melted through by Naruto's tentacles and threw a kunai straight after the opponent, causing him to jump back. As the tentacles slowly lost their electricity and moved towards Ami, they wrapped around her and pulled her close. No, Ami! Ami! Said Naruto as she was not responding. Ami! He screamed as she coughed. Naruto, I'm sorry. No, it's gonna be alright, said Naruto. You just stay right here. I'm gonna fix this. I'm gonna fix this, said Naruto. She tried to raise her hand, but it collapsed. Ami, stay with me, said Naruto as he started to cry. Ami, stay with me, he said. Over to the side, Haku watched. His face was not being seen, but under his mask, he just watched the whole thing. Ami! Ami, Naruto yelled. Wake up. You can't sleep on the battlefield. Come on, wake up, said Naruto. Ami, why aren't you answering me? Tears pooling from his eyes. First KO, and now. No. He refused to accept this. He refused to accept this reality. He would not accept this, Naruto screamed. Frustration, rage, crying out in his tone. He refused. He refused, he yelled. Black markings started to spread across his body. The same black markings that were used to take away an individual's quirk. However, they started to burn red, like heat, as the water around him started to steam up. Sai stepped away from his comrade. Something was wrong. Yamato quickly looked over towards them. As Naruto screamed out, releasing the unusual heat wave. Yamato was confused what this was until Naruto screamed. The tentacles came out of his back, but this time, there was hundreds of them. Yamato had to leap away. So did Sai, as Naruto went chaotic. Debris started to be yanked from the surface and slammed into the water. Water gasms started to be pulled out. Tornadoes. The fluctuation like everything was being pulled and converged. The water started to spaz and shot to every direction. The whole place was being ripped apart. It seems that there was an unseen force yanking and throwing things around. Sai felt the pull as he was being yanked forward. One of the tentacles were about to pierce right through him. However, he was grabbed by a wooden pole that wrapped around him and yanked him back over to the side. What is this? He's losing control. I've never seen a quirk does something like this before. Yeah, his father was right. He's indeed beyond special than we can even imagine. Trees were yanked from the surface. The remainder of the bridge were pulled from the water and thrown around. Haku brought his hands down and created a gigantic block of ice that were about to smash down on Naruto. However, the thing stopped in his tracks and Haku tried to push it forward but he could not. The spikes on the ice tried to pierce Naruto but they could not. They broke. Before the entire thing shattered, large clumps being thrown everywhere. Haku's eyes widened at one of them slamming to his shoulder. "Haku, move!" Zabuza said. As Haku turned, he moved just in time though, but his right eye was torn right into. Crying out in pain, Haku fell to the ground as blood cascaded down his face. Zabuza swam forward, but he was yanked out of the water as Naruto kept on screaming. Zabuza was pulled straight up into the air as Naruto screamed out loud more. Debris slammed forward, some of them slamming face first into Zabuza, crushing the man's face with tremendous force. "Zabuza-sama!" Haku created ice steps and leaped forward. However, he was grabbed by one of the tentacles. He tried to fight it, but the thing electrocutes him. He cried out in agonizing pain. The black markings slowly attached to his body from tentacles, sucking his quirk out in the process. Zabuza was also grabbed as well. As all indication that he had a quirk, his razor-sharp teeth, his claws quickly vanished. As Naruto's scream continued until he froze the entire lake. Literally, freezing the entire lake. This wasn't any small lake, mind you. They needed a bridge to get across. This wasn't normal. Hundreds of Gato's men got their feet frozen. They were trapped. Gato was coming towards the bridge to see the work that he paid for accomplished. However, what he came into was his lower half frozen because he was so short. His lower half got frozen up. He cursed, thinking that it was that boy, until gigantic ice spikes emerged. The first one that emerged split through his skull, bursting his head apart. His men started screaming in agony and pain as they were torn to pieces, their insides being ripped and torn to chunks. As Naruto was not stopping. "What do we do?" said Sai. "Even I can't get too close with my quirk." "I'll stop him," said Yamato. "You'll die," said Sai. "He's out of control. His power is too dangerous." "I have to." Yamato went through hand sign before. Both of his hands transformed to thick trunks. He rushed forward as he used them to bat away all the ice spikes that came towards him, the tentacles. Yamato cried as one of them slashed across his chest, tearing right through his vest and electrocuting him. However, he did not stop as he moved, bashing and destroying until he finally arrived. He thrust his hands out as they wrapped around Naruto. However, they instantly froze over, forcing Yamato to tear his hands out of them. He leaped as an ice spike tore into his right leg. Blood gushed out as he cried in pain, but he bit his lip. Creating a wooden pole, he smacked it with tremendous force across Naruto's head as Naruto collapsed face first. However, Yamato cried out as the ice spike that was stuck in his leg did not go away, nor did the ice melt around here. Sai rushed over as his sensei collapsed face first. His fight with Zabuza was proven to be a hassle for him already, because Zabuza was in his element, and then he got electrocuted, he got torn, he got ripped apart. Sai quickly pulled his tanto and destroyed the ice, and set his sensei down as he quickly stopped the blood flow. There was so much puncture marks in his body. He was lucky none of them hit him right in the heart. Sai looked towards Naruto, who was unconscious. This kid would become one of the most dangerous quirk users in the history of all quirk users, and Sai could see it now. However, he wondered as he glanced toward the body. Ami's body was protectively covered by a sheet of ice that seemed like a crystal. Encased in her body completely, she was frozen and completely fine. Sai was the only one left awoken, and he had to take charge right now. He had to stop his sensei bleeding before he'd end up dying, as the man had threw himself right into danger. However, their secret mission was done. Although this is not the way that they would have expected to happen. The Hokage gave them a mission to do. But this was much earlier than expected, but it has been done. And they were not the ones that caused her life to end. It was her love for this one. Despite just being on team for a short amount of while, Sai knew that she had feelings for this individual. However, those feelings seems like she never told them to him. And no, she's dead, so he would never find out. Looking down, Sai made sure that Naruto was still unconscious, as he didn't want another episode of that to happen. Otherwise, they would all be screwed. Speaking of the bridge, that ice quirk had such a destructive capability, and now it's under the control of this one individual. Not only that, the serpent quirk as well. But guys, be and subscribe right here. First things first, and do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm off now. See you guys soon. Peace.